Oops, there we go. Now we turn the microphone on. That works a lot better. Well, we welcome you to Wednesday morning, and it is our inter-county day. We have Mr. Ray Walden from the Dent County Extension with us this morning. Good to see you, sir. Did I say inter-county?
You did.
Well, we were talking about inter-county.
Right.
All right, from Mr. Ray Walden from the Dent County Extension. Is that better?
In the county.
Dent County. Okay, Dent County. Whew. I'm losing it, man. I'm losing it. Anyway, you're here one way or another.
That's right.
So if you want to work with Inter-County, I'll call Heather over there. We'll see if we can get you on there. Why not get you on the board or something? Well, anyway, good to see you again, my friend.
You too, Sam.
Mr. Ray Walden has graciously swapped with Eric Mush this morning. So Eric was supposed to be in, talk a little bit about the extension, a little bit about of course, Cattlemen's, and a little bit about the Expo. So I know, Ray, you're going to pinch it on the Expo. So why don't we get a little started with that, because the Expo, I think it has the culmination of the whole year, even though I know 4-H starts October 1st. But when you start looking at what's most noticeable, the lips ain't working, Ray, noticeable for the extension, probably the thing that makes them stand out the most is the 4-H and FFA livestock auction. So another very successful one this year.
It's an important event for us, and of course this year we had a new staff member, Samantha Riley, involved in that, and the volunteers and committee that help with that are a big part of that. And of course they've been around for some time, and they were a great help for Samantha. But had another successful expo, and our community always turns out for that and supports kids, and the animals, and had another good year. And I want to go ahead and say thanks again to all those that supported the event and turned out for it, and we're looking towards next year already, but are thankful to have had another good event this year.
Ray, the logistics of putting that on, I know a lot of people just think it's the one day and just the expo auction, which it is not. It starts with the 4-H, and they get their exhibits submitted, and then they get them judged, and then they have a pie auction that Wednesday, and then you've got the animals being delivered on Thursday, and then you got the shows. It is, I'll say, well coordinated now. I mean, they've made a few tweaks to it to try and make sure the animal stress goes down. But really, when you look overall at this thing, it is a well-oiled machine with a lot of moving parts.
It's structured, and they've got a pretty good playbook that they go by, and it works, and it provides an opportunity for the kids to showcase their animals and other entries, and the weather was a little more cooperative this year. We've had some hot years in the past, and of course that's outside of your control. You just have to deal with that, but just made for a good event this year, and I was glad that Samantha's first one was she was able to have a successful one.
Yeah, one of those tweaks they made a few years back, and I want to say probably about 7 or 8, moving it from 1 in the afternoon to 9 in the morning. That was probably the best decision they made, because that 4 o'clock sun, oh Lord, hitting the back of everybody out there, it used to be pretty tough. So again, they live and they learn, and but again, it has been a unique situation for Dent County, where really this entire county, all the farmers and businesses and people interested in 4-H and FFA, all come together for maybe 3, 4, 5 hours total, and you watch these kids, and you see the future there, and then you watch how disciplined some of these kids are, and how they discipline their animals, and how they know how to present themselves, and that's a key ingredient, not just in the show arena.
Sure.
Later on in life, Ray, we all know what you do as a child and coming up will affect you somewhere down the road.
They're learning technical skills, based on whatever projects they're doing, but they're learning some life skills too, how to give a speech and work with groups, and different things that they'll take with them and benefit from the rest of their lives. And how many alums have we heard give credit, including Congressman Smith, and
Sure.
then lots of others that part of their experience, was, these clubs, and we can take pride in that, and but we have to be committed and stay with it to invest in the kids coming up. So
Excellent. That's a great point, because you never want the kids to lose interest,
right,
and you don't want the parents to lose interest, and you don't want the businesses. So when it all comes full circle every year and it comes together, and yes, there have been some changes over the years, but the unfortunate thing is some of those children lose their animals because they get sold. But as I mentioned, the experience. What a full-bodied experience for that youngster.
sure.
Buying your animal, raising your animal, taking care of your animal, keeping the records on the animal. I mean, and then going and selling it, and then the whole cycle needs to be renewed the next year. Do it again.
Some of the kids stay in those fields, beyond school, but even those that don't, those are, they've learned skills that are very transferable, and they can use in different settings. And, we have staff people, of course, involved in that, but it takes a lot of volunteers, and the committee and other volunteers that help support that. We couldn't do it without them. So
That is true. Well, let's talk a little bit about what the extension has been doing a little bit this year. Obviously, back in April, something I attended, and I know you were there as well, was the estate planning education workshop. These are workshops the extension puts on at various times. It was just happened to be in April this year, and many of them are in different areas. Obviously, we just had ours. There'll probably be another a little while before we have that again. But these are the kind of programs the extension offers to people that can help them down the road, be it retirement, be it looking at something, maybe a skill they don't know yet, or, a lot of times they've done canning classes, they've done different things. They have the personnel with the extension that can present these as experts, and it really comes out very nice. And I know that the lady that did the estate planning, she was very knowledgeable. She was an old attorney that did this, said, I'm not an attorney
Former
today.
attorney.
Right? Said, I'm not an attorney. I'm sure she can still do legal work, but here's the thing. That's not what she wants to do anymore. She wants to instruct people on what to look for, not tell them what they need.
Part of what Extension hangs her hat on is research-based, objective information. And, that workshop was a case in point of that, where even though you might need, services, build a relationship with somebody, after that, a financial advisor or an attorney, the information that people got in that workshop makes them a better consumer of, when they do engage in those other relationships, and they know more about what their needs are, or know better what questions to ask.
Right.
And so, you just benefit from having, that good objective information, and a forum where you can ask questions, and in a comfortable environment, and whether it's estate planning or one of the other workshops I mentioned last time I was here, and this is a way different topic, was hands-on workshop on drying cured bacon. And but that we had specialists that had expertise in that area, and had been involved in some of the ham events at the state fair, and was very knowledgeable.
And they have cured bacon at our expo as well.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So very pertinent, and both those events, although they were way different topics, were very well attended.
Sure.
And it goes to say, if you have timely topics that people are interested in, they'll turn out and take advantage of those programs, and those were just two examples, but two recent ones, and that we had mentioned last time I was on. So just kind of giving a recap on, they did take place, and they were successful.
And it's a great time. Sometimes they're free, and the extension programs are. Sometimes there's a small cost because there are materials involved. Like the cure bacon one, they had to cure bacon, so you have to
You actually got a slab of bacon to work with, so there's a cost in
And
that.
some of that to
but,
take home too at the end of the night. But
the estate planning one, even though that was a relatively modest cost, the better consumer that allows you to become, you more than recoup that cost with what it saves you when you engage the higher dollar folks, the attorneys and so forth, because you can be more efficient,
Sure.
when you're, taking care of those items.
especially when they give you a program, an outline program you can take home with you, they can jot notes on that. Because we all know you sit through an hour-long discussion, and some people are going to bring up questions that aren't on the program, quote unquote, that may strike an interest, maybe a succession plan, maybe something else. And in Cure Bacon, you've got these people teaching you how to do it. Somebody's going to throw a question in there that you may not even have thought of.
Sure.
As a lot of people like to jot that down, so I think, hey, I never thought about that. Maybe I want to look to that, see what we can do. So obviously, great workshops that the extension offers. There'll be many more.
Right.
As time goes on, we don't see as many as we used to, because they have cut back, and of course some of the extension's been reduced, and they cover regions now. But many of the extension programs, Ray, you can still Zoom if you want to.
Right. Some of our specialists, offer programs in that format, and that helps us leverage their time, and sometimes can be the difference in being able to offer a program, or if it has to be done face to face, and that's more involved scheduling wise and the logistics, and some things have to be done face to face and are preferred to be done that way, and we still try to respond to that. But when you have fewer staff, that's a side effect is can stretch those out sometimes. The frequency you're able to offer them.
Well, back in June, I took part in the 100-mile, 100-day initiative, and it was something a little bit different for the extension this year. Excuse me. And we had a good crowd turn out for the Denton County walk, run. You can do either one, but it's getting people up, getting them moving, getting things going. And I think as of my last check, we were still number one.
As of one time, we were. Denton County had the highest participation rate in the state, and so even though we're located in a rural part of the state, it's something that people took an interest in and participated in, and that was reflected in how we fared compared to the other counties.
Right.
So.
There was no cost to it. It was just a way of getting you off the couch and just say, hey, you can walk a mile, and it didn't take long at all. It was a little bit warm day, but we did that still in the morning hours while it wasn't too brutal.
Right.
It was a good thing. But again, it's one of those events. I think people say, well, 100 miles in 100 days. Like, I don't have time to walk a mile every day. Well, you don't have to. You just need to get out and just keep moving. And that's the whole idea is even if you just walk out to your mailbox and back and do it 20 times.
We have to stop making excuses and just do what we can do, and make a commitment to it. And I'll try to increase that as we can, but not doing anything isn't healthy and doesn't help you. So
Absolutely. Well, just recently, the East Central Workforce Summit was held. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
That was a team that I was on. There are actually summits being held in different parts of the state.
Okay.
We have a career accelerator program on campus where they do specialized training for businesses, and received a grant to do these summits across the state where they shared information about workforce statistics and trying to connect training providers with businesses or organizations that need help with getting their workforce trained. And so the summit I was part of was the one in West Plains, and you mentioned August 4th. There are other summits scheduled in different parts of the state, but if somebody in this area has interest, there's a virtual one scheduled for November 19th. And if you want to contact me, I can get you more information about that, or you can check our website. But you could participate in that one from anywhere, just through, I believe it's through Zoom, but one of the those technologies where you'll have similar content and information as what we did in the face-to-face summits, but
Sure.
you can do that remotely.
Nothing wrong with doing that remotely, especially as time goes on and the weather starts to get a little bit iffy, but still not too bad at that time of year.
Right.
But definitely one you might want to check out. Workforce development it's changing. It is changing. I mean, years ago, Ray, we all thought about, well, I don't say we all thought about it, but there was a lot of hands-on labor. There was a lot of workforce that was generated at the mines. There was battery plants. You had farmers. You had ranchers. You had people doing timber. I mean, a lot of different things that were more hands-on. A lot of that workforce development today is data-driven, isn't it?
Right. The nature of a lot of the jobs have changed where there's more a technology component. But what we hear from a lot of employers is besides those technical skills, which usually they're able to teach somebody that's willing. But what they sometimes say they have trouble finding is people with some people call them soft skills, or showing up to work on time, being reliable, being able to work with teams, communication, and some of those things you might learn in a 4-H club,
That's
or whatever.
exactly what I was going to say. That's why the 4-H and FFA Expo is so great, because those kids do that.
Right. And so a lot of employers are finding, they're not able to find people that have those skills. And so, finding different ways to, teach that, and that's a all hands on deck effort. It helps when people have a good home support situation, or what can be done in schools to teach those kind of skills, or if kids can participate in extracurricular activities, clubs, and organizations where that's part of what they do. A lot of athletic programs include that, and again, it serves a kid for life,
Right.
if they take advantage of that.
And workforce development is not just kids. I mean, it's young adults and even older adults who are trying to look to transition from maybe the type of work that they had. Maybe they retired from that work's not even available anymore, and they weren't really ready to retire, or maybe they got the itch to go back to work or do something different.
So some of the effort is how to help people transfer, what skills, they have, or to apply those skills in a different environment. And so that way, maybe you got somebody that had a 20, 30-year career doing something, but they aren't ready to retire, or maybe they need to continue working for insurance or whatever reasons. Well, if they can, somebody can show them ways to transfer, or apply those skills that they have maybe in a different setting, it just opens up some opportunities for them.
Absolutely. And a lot of people for example, the shade tree mechanic, I think everybody knew a shade tree mechanic in their life somewhere down the road. Who, if you needed this done or that done, they would tinker with cars all the time, and they could go find it because you might not be familiar with that vehicle, and they knew right where to go look, and you had no clue where to look.
Sure.
Great, it was fantastic. Well, today's technology in cars has kind of eliminated the shade tree mechanic, but it doesn't mean that those hands-on people should stop doing what they love to do, because there's still many other things, other avenues that they can go and look at. No, it may not be a 59 Buick or something like that, but it definitely is going to be something that they can, once they get focused on, I think that they can grab onto it, and then in their mind reassign what they used to love to do in that shade tree, and maybe have to put it into a little maybe workshop or something of that nature.
Sure. Maybe they're good at problem solving or analyzing things, and they could watch a YouTube video on something and understand
Exactly
what it's showing them.
yeah.
I might be clueless, but somebody that has those skills, they can say, okay, this is what I need to do for this different problem.
Sure.
So they can still apply their skills, but maybe in a different manner.
Right. I've seen some of those people actually make YouTube videos.
Right.
Based upon what they know. And if you're dealing with something that's a little bit older, they have the experience where today you just throw it out and you go buy a new one. Well, maybe it's not time to throw it out and go buy a new one.
It's a lot easier to relate to somebody that's actually done it, or knows what they're talking about, but explains it in a way that more of us can understand.
Exactly. Yeah. Or we get to see it.
Right. Right.
Instead of just trying to follow those international instructions, which have no words, you actually see somebody put slot A into opening B.
Sure. Right. Makes it easier to
Whatever
follow.
it is.
Right.
They're crazy. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about something that's going to be coming up at WordAC on the 2nd, and it's drone use in the Ozarks. And, Ray, drones are becoming more and more prevalent everywhere.
They are, and in the ag field, they've kind of been one of the in the forefront of using that technology. And of course, we have real estate agents and other fields too. But what the applications that they're able to do with drones, in an ag setting, is it's incredible. And this workshop coming up, it's September 2nd, so that's
Tuesday,
next week. But it's free, and it's out at WordAC, our research farm, and Gatlin Bunton is a contact for that. If somebody's interested in that, the phone number to call is 573-775-2135. Again, 573-775-2135. 2135, and Gatlin can get you information about that, or if you want to sign up for it.
Sure.
But again, that's a free one,
Yeah,
and so.
Sure.
But if you're interested in that, or want to see, some of the applications, that's a good environment, and it's in the field. You'll be outside, or you'll be at the research farm, and they can show you, some firsthand things, what they're talking about.
Right, and especially if your herd starts to separate, or you have a cow that wanders off a little bit. Boy, it's a lot easier to go find them with a drone and then go bring them back than it is just searching.
It's a different application, but how many times have we heard lately with some of the disasters, whether it's a fire or explosion or flooding?
Yeah.
And, some of those first responders, they've made extensive use of drones, and it's saving lives. And so, it can help with labor on the farm, in the ag setting, too. So,
Sure.
It can help cover ground a lot more efficiently, or maybe that you might not be able to do normally. A drone can help with that.
Sure, and Ray, we all remember Election Day. We got 12 inches of rain, and if you had animals, could have been trapped somewhere, and your drone could have allowed you to find out where they are and get assistance to them. And they don't know where to go. It's water's rising around them, and they're on high ground, but they're trapped. At least they're there, and then you can make your way to try and get those
it's
animals
amazing
back.
over the years to see how that technology's improved. From of course, the resolution on the cameras keeps getting higher and higher, but even the night vision capability, or in terms of spraying in an ag setting, they're able to carry more and more payload, and it's just a good use of technology.
All right, pretty incredible stuff. That's free. You call Gatlin Bunton out at the extension WordAC Farm. That's really an incredible place. I haven't been out there in a while, and I told Gatlin, I said this fall I want him to give me a tour. So I know that the last time I was out there was about 30 years ago.
Wow.
It has changed.
Yeah.
And he said he'd love to do that. So, if you want to find out more information even about just seeing the WordAC Farm and what they do, give Gatlin a call too. And if you can't make the drone conference this time, and again, this is an in-person, basically a hands-on workshop. I mean, it's about as close as you get anymore to a hands-on workshop. 573-775-2135. Just give him a call and get registered for this class. But again, if you have any other questions about WordAC, he'll be more than happy to answer those as well.
You bet. We have a lot of events out there, grazing schools,
Sure.
or other things, and it's we're fortunate to have that in our backyard, so to speak, and a lot of good programs take place out there.
Very good. All right, Missouri Good Neighbor Week. That usually is like the last week of September.
Right, and this is something we try to mention it during the year, and it's almost here.
It's
and
almost
so,
here.
there's still time to participate if you want to look at some ideas for some activities you can do yourself. Kind of a service opportunity, or maybe of a good neighbor and you still want to nominate them, for some recognition. we have information on our website, that can point you in the right direction, or if you want to reach out to me, I can
Sure.
help you with that.
We always want to make sure people actually don't know their neighbors anymore. Sometimes we get so busy, and we'll see people maybe move out, and somebody moves in, and you don't even know who they are for 2 or 3 years.
It's good to know who your neighbors are, and for that to be a two-way, relationship for you to help them, or maybe offer to do something, for them, and whether they're able to respond in kind or not, that's not the point. Just be a good neighbor yourself, and it's just the right thing to do, but usually what comes around goes around.
Yeah, and I can say honestly, I know in my neighborhood, it's not that I go bum around with my neighbors, but I know them all. And when we've had weather issues where branches, limbs, trees come down, all our neighbors get together and we work together to clear those trees out or clear those branches out. You had a little stuff in your own yard, that's going to be your issue. But if you got some major things going on, you'd be surprised how quickly people get out there and lend assistance to each other.
This time maybe it's in your yard, you need to help, but if not, and it's in somebody else's yard, but you're able to help, well, it just makes it easier for everybody.
Absolutely. Good Neighbor Week starts September 28th. Again, if you have any questions about that, or you have somebody you might want to nominate, there's ways to do it online at the Dent County Extension, at the Extension website, and then click on Dent County if you want to do that, and get that registered, get those names in there. And if you have any questions, you can call Ray, 729-3196. He at the Extension office. All right, what is the Entrepreneurial Communities Conference? I hadn't heard of that one yet. That's coming up at the end of September, right?
That's becoming a bigger event for us. This year it's going to be held in Excelsior Springs, but communities actually submit proposals, if you will, to host that. But they'll have people related to tourism, might be chamber directors or tourism directors, or business owners, that are in that space, will showcase some of the things that they've done related to promoting tourism, or serving tourists, in a community. And it's just been come to be a good networking event where you can ask questions and learn firsthand, what's happening in other communities, and they'll be taking bids or accepting proposals for future years' conferences. And so, maybe sometime we'll see about hosting one in Salem. We have a good story to tell too. So
that'd be great. One of the things that when people talk about conferences like this, you mentioned the networking, and that is a key thing, because if somebody has already done something that's very successful, there's no harm in copycatting it. I mean, really, you may have to put your own spin on it. I mean, obviously, what's in Excelsior Springs is not in Salem, and what's in Salem is not in Excelsior Springs. But if they did something that really worked well for their community, Salem can take that, maybe extrapolate the good ideas out of that, and then form it to fit our community and what we have.
Sure.
And that's why these kind of conferences, just because they did it one way, is not the only way it can be done.
Right, and the better speakers will, not try to present it from a angle that, this is the only way to do it, and you're guaranteed success, because it worked in our
Sounds
community.
Sounds like a scam to me, Ray.
But it's more the principles, or maybe the process behind it that can be replicated, and you may end up doing something different, but you could still benefit from seeing, kind of how the thought process or the way, people develop things in other communities. Then, you can learn from that and apply, your specific, needs, and figure out what, might be a good opportunity or something to address a issue, with your business.
Very good. Let's talk a little bit about the Missouri Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. Now, this is not just an extension program. It actually usually comes through your senior aging, like Aging Best or Senior Aging down Texas County way and toward the Springfield area. They're the ones that actually put this on, but the extension helps.
Correct, and that's part of the education aspect of what we do is letting people know about the availability of that, and I believe the funding for that is still intact, so people can still take advantage of that assistance for produce, and so kind of helps soften the financial costs,
Right.
get better foods,
It's $50. You have to be 60 years of age and older, and it comes in 10 different vouchers of $5 each. They are electronic, unfortunately. That's kind of the way of the world, but still, nonetheless, it costs you nothing. And that senior can actually, if they can't walk, if they're mobility restricted, they can actually have an agent for them supply. That agent's name has to be put on the little voucher, but they can actually have that person who may do that shopping at the local farmers market go and pick that up for them. Again, it's $5, as Ray said. Vegetables, fruits, even spices can be purchased with those vouchers. Again, it's just $5 for each voucher, with a total of $50. But Ray, $5 is $5.
Sure. Well, and adding up to 50, who couldn't benefit from, having at least some of your grocery expense
And it
taken care
costs
of.
you nothing to get.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah. And you can apply for that all the way through the end of September. And our farmers market ends at the end of September. There are some other ones to stay open into October, and these vouchers are good until the end of October. But you can apply up until I don't know if it's totally the end of September, probably the 20th or something. They'll cut it
It
off.
might be coming up, right?
Yeah.
But
So I would go ahead and find out more about it. You can call 729-3196 or visit the extension website, extensionmissouri.edu/Dent County.
right.
Or just type in EDU and you'll see all the counties listed, and click on Dent County. It works just as easy. And again, it's absolutely free program for those who are 60 and over. So if you're not 60 yet, you don't qualify.
Right.
And there is no age restriction on this, as a matter of fact. I remember looking at that, and there was no age restriction. So if you're over 60, no matter what, if you make $1 million, you make $100.
I think there are some income.
Is there total? Is there?
185% of the federal poverty level, but that would cover a lot of people.
Yeah,
still.
but at the one time there was none.
Right.
And maybe got used a little bit too much. Who knows? But check it out. If you might fall into that, hey, free $50 worth of groceries, I'd take it
You bet.
anytime. All right. Well, of course, our extension continues to put on programs. I'm pretty sure there'll be plenty more programs online if somebody wants to go look. And you can look at a couple different places on the website. And even if you're saying, well, Dent County's not going to have that one. Well, if it's in Crawford County or maybe Texas County or Phelps County, they may be having the exact workshop or event that you're looking for, and you're more than welcome to go there. You don't have to just go in Dent County.
Right. Our roads are in pretty good shape to get to, most of the other counties where we do programs. And if it's something of interest to you that we don't offer in our county, within a 45-minute or hour drive, you can touch a lot of our other counties.
Absolutely.
And so it's worth looking at, like I said, what other programs are out there besides just Dent County.
Sure. And if you have any questions, our extension office is a wealth of information. Whether you may have found an insect in your home that you can't identify, put it into a little baggie and bring it up there, and they can send it off to the University of Missouri, and they will take a good look at that and get back with you or something, let you know what it is. Hopefully it's not a termite or anything of that nature, but
Right.
if you do have something like that, because you may not know, or you might have found it on your plants. Maybe you're gardening and you see this unusual sparkling little insect. You don't know what it is. Get an idea what it is. Soil testing, hay testing. There's a lot of different things that your extension office can do. They can also help you a little bit with finding out more about different things, like even timber. You've got there's a lot of different free brochures and stuff at our extension. Utilize it.
You bet, and that's the information's a good part of what we offer, but also help with applying that information.
Sure.
You've got people that you can ask questions to, like you said, and if we don't have the answer locally, we know who we can contact that hopefully can answer about any question.
That's what I always told people. I said, I didn't realize growing up that much about extension offices. I mean, I'd heard of them, didn't really know where they were, didn't know what they did, and that's why I love taking the opportunity, like right now, to remind people, hey, there's a lot of different things there, and they're free. Many of the services are free, and all you have to do is call them, 729-3196, if you have a question. If they don't know the answer, they may know somebody who does. Or if they'll tell you, or maybe you're in the wrong area, maybe you need to contact water and soil conservation.
Right.
Because of the question you're asking. So they'll guide you in the right direction. And a lot of times, Ray, that's 90% of the battle.
Sure. Just helping people based on what they're wanting to do, where they need to go, and if it's not something we directly do, but if we know where they need to go, we provide that information all the time.
Very good. Well, I always want to thank you for coming in and spending some time with us. Our Denton County Extension is located in the Judicial Building on 5th Street, second floor. Nice stairway to heaven.
There you go.
But it's down there. If you are mobility hampered, they can come down the stairs and take care of you, and they're more than happy to do that. But again, if you have any questions, 729-3196, or stop by. The office open Monday through Thursday, right?
Correct.
All right.
8 to 4:30.
8 to 4:30, and that's on the second floor of the Judicial Building. And to get to the stairs, you got to kind of have to walk in, go down the hallway a little bit, and then make a left.
Sharp left.
Whip a U, I guess. And then you can go up the stairs and head to the extension office. But again, we always want to thank them for allowing a guest like Ray, or next month will be Eric Mush or somebody else. We talk about 4-H. By the way, 4-H registrations coming up in October, and it's never ending, is it?
No, it's year round.
Always something going on. We really appreciate it. You can call Ray, 729-3196 at the Extension office if you have any questions about Missouri Good Neighbor Week, or call Galen Buntland on the drone use in the Ozarks. Again, that's coming up Tuesday. Now, a lot of advance notice on that one, and that's a free get-together, 573-775-2135. Or if you have any other questions about the Extension, and maybe you have an idea about a workshop,
True.
give them a call.
We're open to suggestions. So.
Give them a call. Maybe they can accommodate you, and if you have enough people interested, voila, another workshop.
Find something put together, you bet.
All right, Ray. Well, thank you very much for coming in, spending some time with us. Ray Walden from the Denton County University Extension. Keep it right here, KSMO. We got AP News coming up. We'll follow that up with Missouri